Saturday night live stream, and it is Saturday night, so I guess that makes it all right. But this particular week, we are focusing on my album called "LA Is Not the Destination," which is a recently written album. As are most of these, it's nice to be able to try out some new material. And this particular album had an interesting evolution. So first of all, I want to just say this is how it got its name. I'm once again wearing my Josh Ritter T-shirt, and how this particular album got its name was the person that I wrote it about. It's one of those things that it gives me a lot of joy to talk to this person. And there's a Josh Ritter song called "Where the Night Goes," and it's all about hearing that somebody is coming back into town, and it's going to be really good to see this particular person. And it's interesting because there are a ton of really quotable lines. One of them I already named an album after, and that was "The Sheriff of Hell." But this one comes from one of the verses, and it says, "Last time I saw you was a greyhound waiting," and then something else, and then it says, "LA is not the destination, still I believe I must pass through." And so this is one of those things that it's like, okay, you kind of fight for some things and they didn't work out at first, but now they're really working out. And so it's kind of the idea that what's big and flashy isn't always necessarily going to be what's best for you, and that's kind of what this album is about. Now, fitting with that theme, even though it's not necessarily the LA theme, there is, as I was writing this album, it was pretty heavily inspired by country music, and then in the middle of writing this, I read the news that Jason Isbell and Amanda Shires had given back their membership to the Country Music Association because they didn't do tributes to John Prine or Billy Joe Shaver or Jerry Jeff Walker, who all passed away this year, and didn't pay tribute to them at the CMAs. Did pay tribute rightfully to Kenny Rogers and a couple other ones who had passed away earlier this year, but skipped over John Prine and the other two that I just mentioned. And so I kind of made it my mission because I thought that was the right thing to do, but I wasn't super familiar with either of the other two's discography, Jerry Jeff Walker or Billy Joe Shaver, but I listened to a little bit of their stuff, and they inspired some songs on here, as did John Prine. And the John Prine song was one that I knew that I was comfortable with, so I didn't learn anything new there necessarily. But he's still worth honoring, and so that was kind of the idea that, like, yeah, those aren't necessarily big name artists, but they have definitely influenced the genre in a lot of ways, and so that was the other kind of idea behind the title. But this first song is one that's called "If I Told You How I Felt," and this was inspired by "Hello in There" by John Prine, and so I'm going to play both of those. We talked about Memphis in the springtime, about 4 months before I moved down. Told me all about how you loved it there and wouldn't come back around. Yeah, I waited waited for you by the arcade. The owners became good friends of mine. They asked me if I needed a table for two. I told them not this time. I had someone I was getting over, who loved the South as much as you. She broke my heart in October, and your compassion got me through. I was too broken to try again, but you were always in my head. I couldn't say nothing, so I just made subtle hints in I love you instead. Now and then I make sure me at an old age, staring blankly at a shelf, wondering what life would have been like if I knowed you how I felt. Yeah, I don't know. I still haven't asked about the future. Guess I'm still not quite sure where I stand. But all I know is you make me happy, and I wanna be your man. It ain't all that hard to picture, a life together in your arms. I gave up on you for a while, but maybe you're the one to keep me from harm. Now and then I picture me at an old age, staring blankly at a shelf, wondering what life would have been like if I told you how I felt. Now and then I picture me at an old age, staring blankly at a shelf, wondering what life would have been like if I knew you how I felt. I don't know. We had an apartment in the city, me and Loretta liked living there. Well, it had been years since the kids had grown a life of their own, left us all alone. John and Linda live in Omaha, and Joe is somewhere on the road. We lost Davy in the Korean War. I still don't know what for. Doesn't matter anymore. You know that memories just grow stronger, and rivers run wilder every day. The old me bun just grow lonesome, waiting for someone to say hello in there, hello. Me and Loretta, we don't talk much more. She sits and stares through the back door screen, and all the news just repeats itself like some forgotten dream that we both see. Someday I'll know and call up Rudy. We work together in the factory. But what would I say if he asked what's new? Nothing, what's with you? Nothing much to do. You know that old glaciers grow stronger and old rivers grow wilder every day. Old Maple grow lonesome, waiting for someone to say hello in there, hello. So if you're walking down the street sometime and spot some Milo ancient knives, please don't just pass them by instead, as if you don't care. Say hello in there, hello. All right, and that was If I Told You How I Felt and Hello in There by John Prine. That song, just, I mean, it means a lot more to me now. This around Thanksgiving is always kind of hard for me because I always remember it as the last time I was able to see my grandpa before he passed. And then after John Prine passed away in April, and then my grandma passed away in July, this song has just meant a lot more. That, you know, the time that you do get to spend with your loved ones, take advantage of it because it's not going to last forever. You know, I kind of took that with my original song and kind of did that idea that, like, you know, your regrets at the end of life are kind of the people that you didn't speak up about, you know, if you had feelings for them and whatever. So I kind of took that idea and put it into a relationship, a romantic relationship, and that kind of idea. So I mentioned that this album was inspired by country songs, and this was actually, I think, the first one that I wrote for this particular album. And, you know, it's kind of funny how things fall into place when you're writing an album and kind of focused, because this particular song, I knew the Travis Tritt version, and I'm sure a lot of people do. My dad actually put it on a country mix a handful of years ago, and I really, really liked it a lot. And as I was going through it, it said that Steve Earle wrote this song, and sometimes I use A to Z lyrics, and they were great for lyrics, but sometimes they get the artist wrong who wrote it. And so I saw it and I was like, wait a minute, Steve Earle, he wrote that? And then sure enough, I looked it up a little bit later, and apparently Steve Earle wrote it and then lost his record deal because of his drug problem. And so, you know, people were shopping around this particular song, and Travis Tritt said, hey, I'll cut it. And so he and Steve Earle ended up releasing it in the same year, actually. I can't remember which one was first, but Travis Tritt released this on his Greatest Hits album, which I always find hilarious when, you know, it's not one of your originals, or not even originals, because maybe you didn't, you know, you're not a songwriter, but, you know, one that somebody else cut. And then it's a new song on a Greatest Hits album. So that kind of struck me as funny. But it definitely fit with the overall theme of this particular album, which is songwriters, and you know, showcasing underappreciated songwriters. And so this is a song called "Beautiful When She Tries," and also these songs, Sometimes She Forgets, and I hope you enjoy both of them. I had sworn her off in early June when she showed me her heart had no room for someone with a broken heart like mine. Now I fell again, 'cause she's beautiful when she tries. She now knows I love transparency. Now my love for her grows exponentially. I feel how I did before she made me cry. Yeah, I'm again, 'cause she's beautiful when she tries. She's beautiful when she tries to love me like any man on earth would deserve. And I know there's more to it, but she knows she almost blew it. And now it seems that we are on the verge. The way she and I now communicate in my mind, I can hardly wait to lift that veil and gaze into her eyes and say I love her and she's beautiful when she tries. She's beautiful when she tries to love me like any man on earth would deserve. And I know there's more to it, but she knows she almost blew it. And right now it seems that we are on the verge. Yeah, I ain't sworn her on in early June when she showed me her I had no room for someone with a broken heart like mine. Now I fell again, 'cause she's beautiful when she tries. Yeah, I fell again, 'cause she's beautiful when she tries. If you see her out tonight and she tells you that it's just the lights that bring her here and not her loneliness, that's what she says, but sometimes she forgets. If she tells you she don't need a man, she's had all the comfort she can stand. You best believe every word she says. But don't give up, 'cause sometimes she forgets. And sometimes she forgets that not too long ago she swore she wasn't gonna let her heart be broken anymore. So now she keeps it locked away, and it gets colder every day, and it won't warm to any man's caress. That's what she says, but sometimes she forgets. And sometimes she forgets that not too long ago she swore she wasn't gonna let her heart be broken If you see her out tonight and she tells you that it's just the lights, then bring her here and not her loneliness. That's what she says, but sometimes she forgets. Oh, don't you dare give up, 'cause sometimes she forgets. Alright, and that was Sometimes She Forgets. And speaking of people forgetting things, my computer's a little bit low on juice, and I forgot that going in, so I am going to plug that up really quick, and then we will be back in business. But yeah, like I said, that was Sometimes She Forgets. That was written by Steve Earle, the one and only Steve Earle, and then cut by Travis Tritt, and a little bit later on, Steve Earle, once he had that record deal again. Yeah, that was that. And actually, that might have led to him getting another record deal, because there was a 5-year gap between 1990 and 1995, and that song actually might have done it for him. But yeah, and in terms of my song, that was one of those things that I just wrote it, and it's just in general, it's really a cool thing when people are trying as hard as they can within a relationship, and that wasn't necessarily happening with this particular one, and it's kind of started to recently, and so that's a very, very cool thing. Now, I mentioned that this whole album is about underappreciated songwriters and showcasing them. And, if you didn't have to stay 6 feet apart, you might punch me in the face for putting Bob Dylan on this list. But believe it or not, there are still some singer-songwriters that I know that don't appreciate Bob Dylan. And I'm not even talking about appreciating him in the way that I do, but like they just kind of view him as a mediocre songwriter. So I got to do something about that. Yeah, this is a song called "Different Now," and it was inspired by "Simple Twist of Fate," the great Bob Dylan song off of "Blood on the Tracks." And I'm gonna play both of those. Yeah, I'm gonna play both of those. So this is "Different Now" and "Simple Twist of Fate." They sat on a park bench right by the grass. They had no watches, time didn't seem so fast. He put his arm around her for the first time. For some reason, it finally fell right. He'd sworn her off many nights, and yet somehow he could feel something's different now. He knew a while back he had to move on, but his face lit up when she was on his phone. Nothing could stop them, or so it seemed. Before she was only his in some kind of dream. She once made him beam. She once again made him beam. Finally the fates allowed. It was clear something was different now. She switched her intentions, he learned her weight. There was something about her no one could emulate. He used to be someone it seemed she tried to ignore, but things aren't like before. He loves her to a core. Soon they will swear vows. They both love that something's different now. They both love that something's different now. They sat together in the park as the evening sky grew dark. She looked at him and felt a spark tingle to his bones. It was then he felt alone and wished that he'd gone straight and watched out for a simple twist of fate. They walked alone by the old canal, a little confused, I remember well, and stopped into a strange hotel with neon burning bright. He felt the heat of the night hit him like a freight train, moving with a simple twist of fate. A saxophone somewhere far off played as she was walking on by the arcade, as the line bust through a beat-up shade where he was walking up. She dropped a coin into the cup of a blind man at the gate and forgot about a simple twist of fate. He woke up and the room was bare. He didn't see her anywhere. He told himself he didn't care and pushed the window open wide. Felt an emptiness inside to which he could not relate, brought on by a simple twist of fate. He hears the ticking of the clocks and walks along with a parrot that talks, hunts her down by the waterfront docks where the sailors all come in. Maybe she'll pick him out again. How long must he wait? One more time for a simple twist of fate. People tell me it's a sin to know and love and feel too much within. I still believe she was my twin, but I lost the ring. She was born in the spring, and I was born too late. Blame it on a simple twist of fate. Blame it on a simple twist of fate. All right, and that was Different Now and Simple Twist of Fate. Really, really great Bob Dylan song off of Blood on the Tracks. And like I said, today I'm showcasing underappreciated songwriters, and that's why I'm doing some of my originals as well. But there are some people who would roll their eyes at the idea that Bob Dylan is an underappreciated songwriter. But like I said, there are a handful of songwriters in Memphis who just deem Bob Dylan as okay, and that's not okay. So that's why I had a couple of his songs on this particular set list. So we're gonna keep on moving. Now, speaking of somebody who has had success as a songwriter, this is one that I think at this point it's common knowledge, but this is essentially how Willie Nelson got his start. He was playing in Tootsie's in Nashville, and played this song called "Crazy." And Patsy Cline's husband was on the phone, or at the bar at the time, and he got on the phone and called Patsy Cline and said, "You gotta hear this song. You gotta record this song." And so that's what helped Willie Nelson's career take off. It was this song called "Crazy." I don't have as high hopes for this song called "Don't Know," which was inspired by "Crazy," but I'm gonna play both, and I hope you enjoy both. Don't know why I can give giving you chances. After I was let down the same way, but I'm so glad I didn't give up on you. Now I know your love will never stray. Don't know why your loving is so naturally stunning, but I want you when I turn gray. Don't know just where this whole thing is heading. Don't know what I knew in this feeling died. Don't know why you're chipper when the world's so gloomy. Yet you bring a smile when it starts to cry. Don't know why our loving began wingly budding, but I want you the rest of my days. Don't know, I don't know how to feel about our future. Don't know what I'd do if you went away. Don't know, and longing and dissect your reasons. Like me, I'm sure there's an array. Don't know how you see through your own messes and still find time to get through all my friends. Don't know why your loving is so naturally stunning, but I'm so glad it's here to stay. I'm crazy for feeling so lonely. Yeah, I'm crazy for feeling so blue. I knew you loved me as long as you wanted. And then someday you leave me for somebody new. Worry, why do I let myself worry? Wondering just what it is I need to do. Oh, crazy for thinking that my love could hold you. Yeah, I'm crazy for crying and crazy for trying. I'm crazy for love. I'm crazy for crying and crazy for trying and crazy for loving you. All right, sounds just like it. All right, I appreciate everybody who's tuning in. That was Crazy by Willie Nelson. Originally, obviously, Patsy Cline is the one who made it famous. And today we are celebrating underappreciated songwriters. And that kind of falls into the category too with Crazy, of like, oh, I didn't know he wrote that. And honorable mention. In fact, yeah, honorable mention, we'll say, goes to Me and Bobby McGee by Chris Christopherson. If you'd like me to play that, just comment and I would be happy to. But that's another one that I actually think I remember hearing the Chris Christopherson version before I heard the Janis Joplin version, which of course is phenomenal as well. But that's a similar deal where somebody else made it famous, but the songwriter doesn't always get the credit that they deserve. So this next one, this is a song called "About Her Eyes," and this is by Jerry Jeff Walker. This was part of my challenge because I knew Jerry Jeff for Mr. Bojangles, but I challenged myself to listen to some of his other songs and figure that out. So this next song is called "The Sunny Side," and it was inspired by "About Her Eyes." Now, I mentioned earlier that A to Z Lyrics isn't always the most accurate in terms of who wrote this song, and if you Google it and then eventually go to A to Z Lyrics, it says that Keith Sykes wrote this song, which I love Keith Sykes to death. He is a phenomenal songwriter, and just, I mean, a Memphis legend, and has actually had cuts from, Jimmy Buffett and various people like that. But this song was written in 1967, and that would have made Keith like maybe 7 years old when that song was written. So, like I said, for as phenomenal as Keith Sykes is, he did not write this song, but he might have covered it. I still need to look into that. But anyway, this is The Sunny Side and About Her Eyes, and I hope you enjoy both of them. She's the sunny side of a darker cloud. Wish she was in my arms right now. We've had fights for it never come back, but there's no denying what we have. She's the sunny side of a shade in my room. When I look at her, I forget the gloom. There's a past that's trying to darken my day. She's the reason why it won't stay. She's the sunny side of a foolish heart that for a decade refused to restart. Well, I swore I'd never fall again, but I love her now just like I did then. About her eyes, they're misty shining. About her hair, it's long and clean. About her face, now it's soft and smiling. But you can't trace her thoughts 'cause they can't be seen. When she flows by you so gently, she brings a breeze that just cleans the air. When she speaks, it's barely a whisper. that tries to hide, but you know it's there. She smiles at you and sends you sailing. It sweeps you yonder along in the night. You glide with ease and you hardly feel it, but you tell you're drifting in a moment's flight. When she leaves, you become quite drowsy, so you recline in your easy chair. She's left you there to think in silence about her eyes, her face, her hair. All right, and that was About Her Eyes by Jerry Jeff Walker, who we just lost a couple of weeks ago, along with John Prine. Not a couple weeks ago, that was in April. But I played some of his stuff earlier, one of his songs. And Billy Joe Shaver was the third in the trifecta that kind of got me in this renewed country writing mode. I knew that that's where the album was going, but then after the protest of so many artists, I thought, hey, I should include some more kind of outlaw country type stuff as well. This is, in case you were just tuning in, the LA is Not the Destination live stream. And that was named after a line in a Josh Ritter song. Yeah, kind of all about what looks flashy isn't necessarily what's the best thing for you. That's essentially where that title comes from. And so kind of showcasing the underappreciated gems. That's what we're doing today. And this next one is a song called True Love Can Happen Again, and it was inspired by Ragged Old Truck by Billy Joe Shaver. So I'm going to play both of those songs, and I hope you enjoy both of them. Yeah, I've been to dark places, I've seen lots of faces since things fell apart in month 10. That was years in the distance, but you're my insistence that true love can happen again. 'Cause I remember the winter before we met. Yeah, I locked myself in my door. Did nothing but ride, 'cause I couldn't stand the sight of people in love being the norm. Been to Newton, Tulsa, Tulsa, Oklahoma, chasing love after she left. Yeah, the one for whom I'm fighting is you, and that's exciting, even though I'm scared I'm to death. 'Cause I've been to dark places, I've seen lots of mazes since things fell apart in month 10. That was years in the distance, but you're my insistence that true love can happen again. I had visions while sleeping of us on a park bench, my arm around you. The world stops its spin, I kiss you on the forehead. Promise one day we'll win, this is only where my love begins. 'Cause I've been to dark places, I've seen lots of faces since things fell apart in month 10. That was years in the distance, but you're my insistence that true love can happen again. Yeah, I've been in dark places, I've seen lots of mazes since things fell apart in month 10. There was years in the distance, but you're my insistence that true love can happen again. There was years in the distance, but you're my insistence that true love can happen again. Early this morning, without any warning, took me a look at myself. Good God, yeah, I see now this married up life I've been living was trying to choke me to death. Now I'm laid on the bed with a gun to my head, and I nearly ended it up. But I come to myself just before I got killed, and I blowed me some holes in the wall. Yeah, I'm thinking about cranking my old ragged truck up and hauling myself into town. Yeah, I'm thinking about raising so much doggone it. I'm gonna die before I live it all down. I lay around this place till I'm blue in the face, and I may as well be underground. Now I'm thinking about cranking my old ragged truck up and hauling myself into town. A honky-tonk man in a honky-tonk band with a honky-tonk girl on my arm. Yeah, I may be as ugly as an old rail fence, but I'm loaded with hillbilly charm. That's right, it's my line, and no wife of mine gonna tell me I can't go out and have me some fun. So before that old heifer drives back from Waco, you can bet your rear end I'll be gone, long gone. I'm thinking about cranking my old ragged truck up and hauling myself into town. Now I'm thinking about raising so much doggone it, like that before I live it all down. I lay around this place till I'm blue in the face, and I may as well be underground. Now I'm thinking about cranking my old ragged truck up and hauling myself into town. Yeah, I'm thinking about cranking my old ragged truck up and hauling myself into town. All right. Awesome, awesome. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Pamela Walker and Richard Wilson both tuning in. I appreciate you guys for doing that. Fabulous. I believe my mom is tuning in as well, so I want to give her a shout out if that's the case. And, I'll just give her a shout out anyway, even if she's not listening, because she deserves it. But this is, and by the way, usually when I say she deserves it, that's not a positive thing in my live streams. So that is in the case of my wonderful mother. I just want to clarify that. But speaking of shout outs, my friend Pat Gavin, who may or may not be tuning in, might be tuning in later. He tipped me off to this song a handful of years ago, and this is a song called Amarillo Highway. And technically Amarillo Highway, but the way that they pronounce it in the song is Amarillo Highway. So this is a song, you want to talk about songwriters. This is a song by Terry Allen originally. And I didn't get a chance to look up what else he sings, but I know I recognize him from something besides this. So I knew the Robert Earl Keen live version of this song, which is really, really great. And my friend Pat has a thing for the state of Texas. And so this is a perfect one there. And I thought, what would the Yankee version of that look like? what would the Yankee version of that look like if I'm coming from the South up north, and I kind of put in my knowledge of the highways and the interstates and all of that, and so you'll see this. This is called Highway of Angels. Went the wrong way on I-22 to Birmingham instead of staying on 55. Yeah, I just 9 hours to St. Louis, and the sad part is that only half the drive. I'm a vagabond, and this road I'm on is paved with good intentions that on my end have turned out painful. And I won't feel close until I'm on 218, the highway of angels. I see billboards for superstores for adult toys that attract drive-by truckers on their way to deliver. And until I see the fields of 218, I ain't gonna let the wildflowers distract me from something bigger. I ain't gonna bite the hand that feeds or settle for my basic needs, being man like I'm a baby in a cradle. Yeah, I won't be satisfied until I make the drive on 218, the highway of angels. Even then I got my miles to go, a lot of time and a lot of road I must be traversing. But the beggars and the choosers don't mistake me for a loser when I-80 begins dispersing. Yeah, I'm mad late in the interstate, can't hold me like a box full of staples. Yeah, I'm getting closer to you on 218. And although I'm in the in-between, yeah, I'll fast track to you on the highway of angels. I'm a straight shot in plain view, a side bed in Nideloo, and a fresh deck in a new deal. Yeah, some call me high hand and some call me low hand, but I'm holding on to what I am, the wheel. 'Cause I'm a panhandling man, handling high rolling dust bowl and high rolling medic. And I ain't got no blood in my veins, I just got them 4 lanes of hot Amarillo highway. Yeah, I don't wear no Stetson, but I'm willing to bet, son, that I'm a big Texan as you are. There's a girl in her bare feet asleep on the back seat, and a trunk full of pear beer and Lone Star. 'Cause I'm a panhandling man, handling high rolling dust bowling daddy. I ain't got no blood in my veins, I just got them 4 lanes of hot Amarillo highway. Gonna hop out of across the hub of the golden spread. Under blue skies, gonna stuff my hide behind some power glide. Get me some southern fried back in my hide. 'Cause I'm a panhandling, manhandling, high rolling, dust pulling daddy. I ain't got no blood in my veins, I just got them 4 lanes of hot Amarillo highway. And as close I'll ever get to heaven is making speed up 87 of that hot Amarillo highway. All right, and that was Amarillo Highway and Highway of Angels. Not in that order. I did my original song called Highway of Angels first, and that was that. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Now back to a little more modern day country music. This song is by a band called the Eli Young Band, and they are within the country genre. They're a little bit more of that. Not quite outlaw country, but some of the same chords as outlaw country, and a little bit more country rock, but not like Eagles country rock. So that's a little bit of the in-between there. But this is a song of theirs called Always the Love Songs, and it inspired a song of mine called What Would Have Happened. And in case you haven't noticed, kind of the theme of this album is kind of regretting the chances that that you didn't take. And so this is another song in that vein, and this is What Would Have Happened, and I hope you enjoy it. And I'm going to do it as a medley with Always the Love Songs. I first met you, we cruised down 61. I fell for you with each mile we would run. What would have happened then if I had asked you for your hand? Now I wouldn't have been chasing something in Spain that eventually would only wind up in pain. Yeah, I would have saved myself a whole lot of heartache. You got me through a ton. Wondered if you could have been the one. And I still wonder all the time, just what would have happened if I trusted my gut. The minute I first met you, I knew it was love. A mediocre track didn't sound as good as that. Now my life is back on home, and when I think about growing old, I close my eyes. You're the first in my sight. If it's love, there isn't supposed to be down, but there's something in you I can't live without. We once were reversed, but now you could finally break the curse. Sometimes I wonder where love would have gone if years ago I'd asked you to be the one. Would you have felt the same, or would you have been part of my pain? You got me through a ton. I wondered if you could have been the one, and I still wonder all the time, just what would have happened if I trusted my gut. The minute I first met you, I knew it was love. A mediocre track didn't sound as good as that. Now my life is back on home, and when I think about growing old, I close my eyes. You're the first in my sight. just in my gut the minute I first met you. I knew it was love, a mediocre track. It didn't sound as good as that. Now my life is back on Nolan. When I think about growing old, I close my eyes, and you're the first in my sight. We used to pull off Highway 249 at a cool little place where we'd go hiding on Friday night to get away from the city lights. Find a little wood, build a fire. Somebody'd always bring a couple guitars, and we'd take turns singing songs and watching them burn. We do rambling man, proud Marian American band, but the ones I remember most, we'd be singing at the top of our lungs. It was always the love songs every time, made everybody feel something inside, and with the fire down low, you held your girl real close, made you wanna love the one you were with, gave you the courage for that first kiss. It was a love song, it's always the love song. It was always the line stuck in your head, that feeling of wanting somebody so bad. They were singing it right to you. It felt so good those times you had that feeling of wanting somebody so bad, made you weak in the heart, couldn't take being apart. Honky tonks, drinking songs, we can do them all night long, but the ones I remember most, it was always the love songs every time, made everybody feel something inside, and with the fire down low, held your girl real close, made you wanna love the one you were with, and gave you the courage for that first kiss. It was the love songs, always the love songs. We'd be singing at the top of our lungs. It was always the love songs every time, made everybody feel something inside, and with the fire down low, held your girl real close, made you wanna love the one you were with, and gave you the courage for that first kiss. It was the love songs, always the love songs. Always the love songs, always the love songs. All right, and that was Always the Love Songs by Eli Young Band. And that was that. That was another one, kind of underappreciated songwriters, as we've been focused on throughout the day. And that was one similar to Montgomery Gentry, that I didn't realize until a little ways into listening to him, that the band was named after one, like, last names, essentially. So one guy whose last name was Eli and one whose last name was Young, but Eli Young sounds like a person. So that's kind of an interesting factoid there. All right, so we are getting toward the end of my original songs here. And this next one is a song inspired by Girl from the North Country by Bob Dylan. And when I was writing this song, I had the Johnny Cash and Bob Dylan version in my head, at least in terms of the tempo. Their vocals don't really do it for me on that song, and it has nothing to do with their vocals. It's just like, it seems like they're competing, and it doesn't really work singing in like one after the other. And so that is something a little bit interesting. But anyway, it was originally on Freewheelin' Bob Dylan, I believe, and so that was that, and a little bit of a different arrangement. But I ended up keeping the arrangement um, from the Nashville Skyline version, I should say. But then obviously this is not going to be sung as a duet because Johnny Cash is unfortunately no longer with us, and Bob Dylan won't return my calls. So that's how that's going to work. But this is Real Life and Girl from the North Country. I hadn't heard your voice in years, but I knew just what I wanted you to say. 'Cause despite the silence, my heart and conversations with you every day. And in my mind, we were sitting in a park. You fell asleep on my shoulder long after dark. I held you as the sun began to rise. What a joy it was to wake up to your eyes. Didn't mean to fall for you, but I couldn't help myself. You always surprise me like nobody else. I got all these words I can't bring myself to say, but in my mind I tell you every day. If you'll take my hand when I wake up from this dream, maybe your return love won't wind up a fantasy. Maybe this whole thing could move from my head to a place called real life instead. If you're traveling to the North Country Fair, where the winds hit heavy on the borderline, remember me to the one who lives there, for she once was a true love of mine. If you go when the snowflakes storm, when the rivers freeze and the summer ends, please see if she has a coat so warm to keep her from the howling winds. Please see if her hair hangs long, and if it rolls and flows all down her breast. Please see for me that if her hair's hanging long, for that's the way I remember her best. I'm wondering if she remembers me at all. Many times I've often prayed in the darkness of the night, in the brightness of my day. So if you're traveling to the North Country Fair, where the winds hit heavy on the borderline, remember me to the one who lives there. She once was the true love of mine. All right, and that was Girl from the North Country. So I'm going to switch this up a little bit. Normally I play my song first, and then I play the cover. But this time I'm going to play the cover first, and this is a song called New Favorite Memory. And it inspired a song of mine called Can't This Wait, and I hope you enjoy both of them. You're fumbling around the bedroom, trying to put on your shoes. Hair still and dress and I'm looking like you're about to blow a fuse. I know what's about to happen, I can read you like a book. You're about to shoot me, then you little yeah, well, hey, look, there it is. Baby, don't move. I wanna soak this in. I got a new favorite memory of you. Driving through now, running red lights. You take my hand in the car. Finally making it to the restaurant. Our friends are 2 drinks in at the bar. Yeah, I know what's about to happen. Yeah, folks, don't change that dime. She's about to light up the room with a laugh and a smile. There it is. Baby, don't move. I wanna soak this in. I got a new favorite memory of you. Yeah, I'm gonna fall in love, baby, I know. Wait for it, here I go. You're fumbling around in the bedroom, trying to take off your shoes. Hair magnet, dressing off, you look at me. There it is. Baby, don't move. I wanna soak this in. Got a new favorite memory of you. Here we go again. I got a new favorite memory of you. You're wandering around the grocery store. I'm trying to force a smile. You paint over every item. We'll look at it in every eye. It took 15 minutes to convince you to buy the saffron. Can't believe something so simple could take this damn long. Can this wait? We got places to run. Not can't wait anymore. Wish you'd outrace the setting sun. You're on your mind with your grad school. Ain't got any time for us. I know this is a give and take, but you got a crazy wanderlust. You're putting me on, know that I've got so many years, but maybe we need a ring. I need one from all these tears. Can this wait? We got places to run. Not can't wait anymore. Wish you'd outrace the setting sun. Then suddenly you chose me. We were married at July. It became so attractive once we both cried. We both made a new 100, looking at the diamonds flow. We're still burning for each other, looking at all the ways we've grown. I hold your hand and thank you for this crazy ride. Without you there's no way I would have had this beautiful alive. Can't this wait? We got places to run. Save a place for me. If I can't outrace the setting sun. Can this wait? We got places to run. Save a place for me. If you can't erase the setting sun. All right, and that was Can't This Wait and New Favorite Memory, not in that order. So, Thursday was Thanksgiving, and I did this on Thanksgiving, but I feel like doing it again, so I'm gonna do that really quick. This is Alice's Restaurant by Arlo Guthrie, and this really doesn't require much of an introduction, so I hope you enjoy it. This song is called Alice's Restaurant. It's about Alice in the restaurant. But Alice's Restaurant is not the name of the restaurant, that's just the name of the song. So that's why I called this song Alice's Restaurant. You can get anything you want at Alice's Restaurant. You can get anything you want at Alice's Restaurant. Walk right in, it's around the back, just a half a mile from the railroad track. Said you can get anything you want at Alice's Restaurant. Now it all started 2 Thanksgivings ago. It was on 2 years ago on Thanksgiving, when my friend and I went up to visit Alice at the restaurant. But Alice doesn't live at the restaurant. She lives in the bell tower, in the church nearby the restaurant, in the bell tower, with her husband Ray and Fasha the dog. And living in the bell tower like that, they got a lot of room downstairs where the pews used to be. And having all that room, and seeing as how they took out all the pews, they decided that they didn't have to take out the garbage for a long time. So we got there and we found all the garbage there, and we decided it'd be a friendly gesture if we took out the garbage and took it to the city dump. So we took about a half ton of garbage and put it in the back of the red VW microbus and took shovels and rakes and implements of destruction and headed down toward the city dump. Well, when we got there, there was a big sign with a chain across the dump saying closed on Thanksgiving. And we had never heard of the dump being closed on Thanksgiving before. With tears in our eyes, we drove off into the sunset looking for another place to put the garbage. We didn't find one until we came to the side of the road, and off the side of the road there was another 15-foot cliff, and at the bottom of that 15-foot cliff there was another pile of garbage. And we decided that one big pile of garbage was better than two big piles, two little piles, and rather than bring that one up, we decided to throw ours down. So that's what we did. We drove back to the church and had a Thanksgiving dinner that couldn't be beat. Went to sleep and didn't get up the next morning when we got a phone call from Officer Obi. He said, "Kid, we found your name in an envelope in the bottom of about a half ton of garbage, and we just wanted to know if you had any information about it." And I said, "Yes, sir, Officer Obi, I cannot tell a lie. I put that envelope under the garbage." And after speaking to Obi for about 45 minutes on the telephone, we finally reached the heart of the matter, the truth of the matter, and that was that we had to go down and pick up the garbage. And we also had to go and speak to him at the police officer's station. So we got in the red VW microbus with the shovels and rakes and implements of destruction and headed down toward the police officer's station. Now, friends, there was only one or two things that Obi could have done at the police station, and the first was he could have given us a medal for being so brave and honest over the phone, and that wasn't likely, and we weren't expecting it. But the second thing he could have done was he could have bawled us out and told us to never be seen driving garbage in the vicinity again. But there was a third possibility that we didn't even count on, and that was that we were both immediately arrested and handcuffed. And I said, "Obi, I don't think I can pick up garbage with these handcuffs on." And he said, "Shut up, kid, and get in the back of the patrol car." And that's what we did. We sat in the back of the patrol car and drove to this, quote, scene of the crime, unquote. And let me tell you about the town of Stockbridge, Massachusetts. Where this happened here, they got 3 stop signs, 2 police officers, and 1 police car. But when we got to the scene of the crime, there was 5 police officers and 3 police cars, and being one of the biggest crimes of the last 50 years, everybody wanted to get the newspaper story about it. It was using all kinds of cop equipment that they had hanging around the police officer's station, and it was taking plaster tire tracks and footprints and dog-smelling prints, and they took 27 8x10 colored glossy photos with circles and arrows around each one with a paragraph on the back explaining what each one was to be used as evidence against us. They took pictures of the approach, the getaway, the northwest corner, the southwest corner, and that's not even to mention the aerial footage. After the ordeal, we went back to the jail, and Obi said he was going to put us in the cell. He said, "Kid, I'm going to put you in the cell. I want your wallet and your belt." And I said, "Obi, I can understand you want my wallet so I don't have any money to spend while I'm in the cell, but what do you need my belt for?" And he said, "Kid, we just want to make sure there aren't any hangings." And I said, "Hangings? Obi, did you think I was going to hang myself over littering?" And he said, "Kid, we can't be too sure." And being the friend that Obi was, he also took out the toilet seat so I wouldn't hit myself over the head with it, have an accidental drowning. And he took out the toilet paper too so I couldn't, bend the bars and roll it over and make my escape out through some toilet paper. So we were just kind of waiting it out. It was about 4 or 5 hours later that Alice, you remember Alice? There's a song about Alice. Anyway, Alice came to bail us out after having some choice words for Officer Obi and a few nasty words for him, and she bailed us out of jail, and we went back to the church and had one of the best Thanksgiving dinners, another one that couldn't be beat. Until the next morning when we had to go to court. So, we walked in and Obi came in with the 27 8x10 color glossy photos with the circles and the arrows around each one and a paragraph on the back of each one explaining what we did. The judge came in and said, "All rise," and we all stood up. And Obi stood up with the 27 8x10 colored glossy pictures with the circles and arrows. And Judge walked in and sat down with the seeing eye dog and sat down, and we sat down, and Obi looked at the seeing eye dog, and then the 27 8x10 colored glossy pictures with circles and arrows and the paragraph on the back of each one. He began to cry because what Obi realized is that this was just another case of American blind justice, and there was nothing he was going to be able to do about it because the judge wasn't going to be able to look the other way on the 27 8x10 colored glossy photographs, the pictures and arrows around each one, paragraph on the back explaining what each one was. So anyway, we was fined $50 and had to pick up garbage in the snow. But that's not what I'm here to tell you about. I'm here to tell you about the draft. So they got this building down in New York City. It's called Whitehall Street, where you walk in and you get injected, inspected, and detected, and infected, and neglected, and then selected. I went down to get my physical examination one day, and I walked in and I sat down and I got good and drunk the night before because I wanted to look like the all-American kid from New York City. Man, I wanted to feel like I wanted to be the all-American kid from New York, and sat down. I was hung down, brung down, hung up, and all kinds of mean and nasty, ugly things. And I walked down and sat down, and they gave me a piece of paper, and they said, "Kid, go see the psychiatrist in room 604. And I went in there, and I said, "Shrink, I want to kill. I want to kill. See, I want to see blood and gore and guts and veins in my teeth and eat dead, burnt bodies. I mean, kill. And I started jumping up and down, yelling, kill. And the shrink was jumping up and down, yelling, kill. And the sergeant came over and pinned a medal on me and sent me down the hall and said, "You're our boy." I didn't feel too good about it. And I proceeded down the hall getting more injections, inspections, detections, neglections, and all kinds of stuff they got going on there. And, I was in there for 2 or 3 hours and 4 hours. I was there for a long time going through all kinds of mean and nasty things and having a tough time in there. And they was inspecting, injecting every single part of me, and it was leaving no part untouched. Proceeded on through, and I finally came and to see the last man, and I walked in and sat down, and after a big old thing there, I walked up and said, "What do you want?" And he said, "Kid, we've got only one question. Have you ever been arrested?" And I proceeded to tell him the story of Alice's Restaurant Massacre with full orchestration and 5-part harmony and stuff like that, and all the phenomenal stuff, and that whole phenomenon. And I stopped right there, and he said, "Kid, did you ever go to court?" And I proceeded to tell him the story of the 27 8x10 colored glossy pictures with circles and arrows around and a paragraph on the back of each one. And he stopped me right there, and he said, "Kid, I want you to go sit down on that bench there that says Group W. Now, kid." And I went over to the bench there, that is Group W, where they put you if you may not be moral enough to join the army after committing your special type of crime. And there was all kinds of mean and nasty, ugly-looking people on the bench there, and mother rapers and father stabbers and father rapers and mother stabbers. Father rapers sitting right there on the bench next to me, and they were mean and nasty and ugly and horrible and crime-ridden type guys. And sitting on the bench next to me, and the meanest, nastiest, ugliest one, and the meanest father raper of them all, that is. And he sat down next to me and he said, "Kid, what'd you get?" And I said, "I didn't get nothing. I had to pay $50 and pick up the garbage." And he said, "What were you arrested for, kid?" And I said, "Littering." And they all moved away from me on the bench there, and the hairy eyeball, and all kinds of mean and nasty things, until I said, "And creating a nuisance." And they all came back and shook my hand, and we had a great time on the bench talking about crime and mother stabbing and father raping and all kinds of groovy things that we were talking about on the bench. until the sergeant came over and had a paper in his hand and held it up and said, "Kids, this paper's got 47 words, 37 sentences, 58 words, and we want to know the details of the crime, the time of the crime, and any other kind of thing you gotta say pertaining to and about the crime, and I want to know the arresting officer's name and any other kind of thing you gotta say." And he talked for 45 minutes and nobody understood a word he said, but you know, we had fun filling out the forms and all of that with 4-part harmony, and I filled out the Alice's Restaurant Massacre with the 4-part harmony and wrote it down there, and just about everything was fine until I put down the pencil and turned over the piece of paper, and there on the other side, in the middle of the other side, away from this thing, on the other side, in parentheses, in capital letters, quotated, read the following words: "Kid, have you rehabilitated yourself?" And I went over to the sergeant and I said, "Sergeant, you got a lot of damn gall to ask me if I've rehabilitated myself. I mean, I'm just sitting here on the bench. I'm sitting here on the Group W bench because you want to know if I'm moral enough to join the army and burn women and kids and houses and villages after being a litter bug?" And he looked at me and he said, "Kid, we don't like your kind, and we're going to send your fingerprints off to Washington." And friends, somewhere in Washington, enshrined in some little folder, is a study, in black and white of my fingerprints. And the only reason why I'm singing you this song now is because you may know somebody in a similar situation, or you may be in a similar situation, and if your situation is like that, there's only one thing you can do, and walk into the shrink wherever you are and just walk in and say, "Shrink, you can get anything you want at Alice's Restaurant," and walk out. You know, if just one person does it, they might think he's really sick and they won't take him. And if 2 people might do it, well, they might think that both of those people are sick, and they won't take either of them. And if 3 people do it, 3 people, can you imagine 3 people walking in and singing a bar of Alice's Restaurant and walking out? They might think it's an organization. But if 50 people do it, imagine 50 people doing that. If 50 people do it, they might think it's a movement. And that's really what it is, the Alice's Restaurant anti-massacre movement. And all you gotta do is sing along the next time it comes around on the guitar, with feeling. So we'll wait for it until the next time it comes around, and when it does, you can. Here it comes. You can get anything you want at Alice's Restaurant. You can get anything you want at Alice's Restaurant. Walk right in, it's around the back, just a half a mile from the railroad track. Said you can get anything you want at Alice's Restaurant. That was horrible. If you want to end the war and stuff, you gotta sing it loud. I've been singing this song for 25 minutes now, and I could sing for another 25. I'm not proud or tired. So we'll wait until it comes around again, and this time singing with 4-part harmony and with feeling. We're just waiting for it to come around again. Alright, here it comes. Alright now. You can get anything you want at Alice's Restaurant, excepting Alice. You can get anything you want at Alice's Restaurant. Walk right in, it's around the back, just a half a mile from the railroad track. Said you can get anything you want at Alice's Restaurant. Dun, 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 at Alice's Restaurant. All right, and that was Alice's Restaurant. I didn't see what time I started, but that's about an 18-minute song. So hope you enjoyed that and enjoyed this whole week. Now, this live stream, for the next 3 weeks, I'm really excited about this. We are doing a celebration of my 100th album, which I just completed yesterday. And we're going to play that 100th album. I'm going to do all the songs on that. And then the week after that, we're going to do an influences show. And then the week after that, we're going to do a request show, more or less, and greatest hits show, and going through all of those things. So I hope you will join me the next 3 weeks because that's some exciting stuff coming up. Have a good week, full week back at work, and all of that next week. And I will see you Saturday for that 100th anniversary live stream, 100th album live stream, part one.